So we're doing a little indoor video today. We had our water tested, and it was told to us everything was pretty good. And I had bought a home test kit, and it didn't show anything that was super bad in the water. And we have a filter in the fridge. But I took a water sample into a local company, and it wasn't bad. Everything was within its limits, but figured to put in a RO system. So I started researching and found a system that doesn't have a tank, tankless RO, which I never knew there was anything like that. I guess it's, from what I've researched, it's something newer. So I'm gonna unbox this real quick, kind of go through what it is, and then we'll put it in. Supposedly looks like it's pretty easy deal, but we'll go through it. So I'm gonna set this here. So that's it there. It's a Waterdrop G2. They have quite a few different models, and I went through the different ones, and the newer one they have has an extra filter on top of another filter on top of another filter, but it seemed like this one did enough, and it actually has twice the flow, and the filters are a little bit easier to change. I'm surprised they actually have as many different models as they have, different filter systems, and but after all of them I looked through, for the price and the cost of filters and what it did, and having twice the flow plus half the waste, it just seemed like this was the best one for our purposes. So the first box on top was just a Faucet and Accessories. Let's see if I can get some more light. It's a substantial piece of equipment. It's actually got some weight to it. It's packaged pretty nicely. Good thick foam. I mean, they could drop that thing pretty good and it would be fine. Comes with some hose, supply, and drain. I believe you might have to drill a hole in my my drain pipe for the wastewater out of this system. I think there might be a chance you can pipe into something else that you might already have under there that work. But as you can see, pretty small system. It's, this unit looks like it actually will take up as much, if maybe not even just a little bit less room than just the tank on a normal RO system. And then on top of the tank, you have all your filters that are in a line that have to, sometimes they're screwed to the back wall and you got to unscrew them, and you unscrew them from the top to the bottom, and they leak. Just those RO systems I've always had just been kind of a pain, and I saw these and just figured, this was a pretty nice system. So needs power, which most everybody under their sink has power. So we have power. Like I said, it's decent weight. So you get your hose connections here on the top. And this will just slide in. And these are your filters. You just twist out like that. That's it, just like a fridge filter. It doesn't leak water all over the place. It's sealed. You might get a little bit of drippage, but it just goes right in there. Twist tight, and it's got one on the bottom. Same thing. This one's bigger. And I watched a lot of other YouTube videos about it, and watched guys run the TDS tests on them with the meters you drip in the water, or put in the water. This system, from all the ones I watch, actually does a better job than the systems with the tank and all the 3, 4, 5 filters underneath that you have to spin off, dump water everywhere, and they take up that much room. So I'll get this thing over under the sink, clean the sink out a little bit, and get back. So I forgot to show the accessory box, but this box is packaged extremely well, just like the main unit. You got nice hardware for your spigot. Nice O-ring seal on the bottom there. Stainless pipe. Get your hose with your T and a shut-off valve there. Some brackets for mounting your drain around your existing drain pipe for your wastewater. All the clips and connections you'll need. There's all the clips. And some tape. Looks like thread tape. And directions, but we don't need those. So yeah, everything's came in a nice box, packaged well, heavy duty stuff. Don't think we'll have a problem. What I do remember, this unit was a little bit cheaper in price because some of the newer ones have a readout on here that'll tell you your total dissolved solids, TDS, real time. So it's telling you what the water's like as it's coming out of the faucet. And it also has a couple of them had a light up here to tell you when your filters were going bad. The unit I got, you actually have to open the cabinet door and look underneath, and this unit has lights all right here that tell you when things need to be changed. So it didn't have a couple of the features, you know, the fancy stuff that's staring at you right in the face to tell you it's bad whenever they go bad, or what it's reading when the water's going through. But for the price difference and the size of this unit, only having the 2 filters instead of the 3, and like I said, the cost, I wasn't willing to spend the extra money for those fancy things up in your face. When that unit had that, but it didn't. It had half the water that would come out, the pressure, and twice the wastewater. So it just, the offset didn't seem worth it for me, in my personal opinion. But so that's that. So as you can see here, you've got your spout, your body, mounting washer, nut, quick connect fitting. So we got all that laid out here. The first thing so far that I'm not happy with is how this mounts. So this has 3 O-rings on it and just slides into the top. There's nothing that holds it. I mean, it swivels freely. I mean, I haven't seen anybody complain that it won't seal, but I have my doubts. So we'll see. We'll put it in and get it hooked up, and hopefully it doesn't leak. I mean, you think if there was any pressure on it, you know, I've stuck it in there and it's not very much to pull it back out. So we'll see. So I'm going to mount the water supply to the tank. It comes with the adapters to run to the smaller line on both ends. There's the other adapter there, which I was hoping I didn't have to run the adapters because I hate having extra pieces, but as you can see here above my valve, it goes from 3/8 down below up to the smaller. So I'll put that valve right above this valve between there, and I'll see. I don't know if you can see it up in there, but it's mounted, and the supply from the RO system is hooked up to the tube that comes through for the spigot up top. And it's just got those easy plastic fittings. Basically, this tube will slide in to that mark into a plastic piece, and then it'll have a little collar. You pull the collar down and put a snap ring in between that collar and the body, and that's it. It locks it in there, and then to get it out, you'd pull that snap ring out, push that collar up, and then it'll slide off. So we'll got the water off, get it drained, put some paper towels under there. I'll disconnect that and hook this up, and then we'll work on the wastewater. So we got that valve all mounted. I used some Teflon tape on all the joints. These have rubber on some of them, so you don't necessarily need it, but I just put it on there because I had it. So once you get the end of the hose hooked up, you turn the water on and turn this valve back on. But when you tighten these up, try to put together what you can before you have it mounted on your actual water line, so you're not tweaking on it as much as possible. And always try to have a backup wrench somewhere holding against the twist of tightening it, so you're not twisting on your supply line. So I got the wastewater installed. Drill a 1/4-inch hole somewhere in the vertical part of the pipe. Basically, just put the wastewater hose through this part, stick it through about 1/2 inch. It's got a little gasket on here, and you just put both pieces, half moons, on there. Make sure the hose goes in the hole. Put your little keeper in there to hold it from coming out. Tighten it down. You want to tighten it kind of even on each side. So we got our supply, got our waste, and we got our the hose to the spigot. I cut them all a little shorter. I brought them out here to where I could stick them into the unit outside of the undersink and then push it back in there. I cut off a couple feet, a foot, 18 inches off each one, but you can leave it all if you want. But I chose to cut them shorter so I didn't have the excess back there. So I'll show you real quick. I got the supply line in and the line to the spigot. We'll hook up the wastewater now. They have a line on them how far you're supposed to put them in, but I cut it off, so it's about 3/4 inch. But you can feel it when you put it in there. I'll probably go behind that one too. It's gonna end up back there anyway. So sorry about the wobbly camera, but so you just stick it in there. You gotta push a pretty good amount of pressure, and then what'll happen is you'll pick up on it, and you'll see there'll be a little gap come in there, just enough to slide this piece in, just like that. Now it's locked. Now it can't come out. You can see the other ones have the blue tabs too. That's how it goes. We'll turn the water on. This thing's supposed to run for 30 minutes when you first start it up. Actually, you're supposed to run it for 30 minutes every time you change the filter. So not a ton of water, but decent amount. It's kind of a bummer, but just cleaning the carbon out of the filters, I would imagine. Seeing here is making some noise. Turn the water on. We got extra parts here. That's always good. But nothing's leaking. I think they just give you some extra clips in case they go flying. But seems to be working. Got some water coming out of there. It's not leaking out of there where I was contemplating it might. Time will tell if that becomes a weak spot. But yeah, that's supposed to run like that for half an hour. When I first turned it on, it squirted out a little bit of black and all that, but that's normal for the carbon in the beginning of the filters. So yeah, no leaks. Mess with those hoses a little bit, get them routed a little better, and then shove that thing the rest of the way in there. And that's about it. See how the water tastes here in a half hour. So that's about all you get there for pressure. When you first start it, you get a little more, but it's not much. Took me 4 seconds to fill that cup up from this. And excuse the extra noise, we have a runaway stray dog that is now at our house. But I filled the same cup up in here, and it took about 16 seconds. So it definitely doesn't have as much pressure, but it's pushing the water through 2 big filters compared to this fridge's, one normal size filter. All right, so first taste test. You can hear it still running. It's been 28 minutes, close enough to 30. So let's see what it tastes like. Everybody that did the reviews on it and had installed it said it tasted pretty good, so we'll see. Tastes pretty good. Our water never really tasted bad. We're a well water, so there's no chlorine or any of the city water taste in it, so it wasn't ever bad. Tastes a little different, but not much. It's good. So, yeah, happy with it. Water flow's a little low on it. I mean, RO systems, it's kind of a thing, but I'm willing to give up a little bit of extra water pressure for not having that big tank down there and using up the hole underneath of your sink. So, don't forget to hit that subscribe, bell notification. I will put a link in the comments to this unit, this exact unit I bought, and they're still doing 15% off right now, I believe. So I think it's normally like $370 or something. It's like 304 some change, I think. So if you're interested, check it out. It's an easy install, and it works.